Hey everyone, Stephen Young back in another episode of Motivational Monday here. So what we're doing this week is a continuation of what we did last week. So last week you had some homework. You had three different types of goals. A goals, B goals, and C goals. A goals are goals that you already know how to do. So this is what we would call your to-do list. B goals are goals that you think you can do if you have a plan in place and you stick to that plan. And C goals are your fantasy goals, right? These are what we call your stretch goals. Really want sort of what you want in life. The sort of thing that deep down burning desire you've always thought about in your entire life. It's what talks to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Imagine this: if you win the lottery this weekend, and on Monday morning the first thing you get is a multi-million, $50 million check right in your bank account. So money is no longer a factor in your decision-making process. And time, ultimately, you have unlimited time at this point. You don't have to go anywhere to earn any money. So you have basically 24 hours a day to do whatever you want. So time and money are no issue any longer. What is the first thing that comes to your mind? What is it you really want to be doing with your life? It's probably not surprising what you're doing right now, which is unfortunate. So what we're doing here is continuing from what we did last week. So that was your homework from last week. You had to give it some thought. And this week, what you want to do is you want to create three different lists, actual lists. So you can actually just take a list of things to do every single week, every single day. And that is what we call your to-do list, okay? So these are the things that you know you have to do regardless of if you're going for a fantasy goal or it's not a fantasy goal, okay? But what you need to do is focus on the C goal. That is what you need to focus on day in and day out. So you're going to create a list or just one little sentence or a paragraph of what that fantasy goal looks like in your life, okay? And so every single day, instead of focusing on what you have to do for the day, focus on what you want in life. And surprisingly enough, the B goals and A goals, they just sort of fall into place. So let me give you a good example. Let's say Ed Hillary, who was the first man who ever climbed Mount Everest, okay? If all he did was focus on, how do you tie your shoes and how do you, rope the perfect knot when you're climbing a mountain and how do you pack your backpack the best you could ever pack it. If that's all he focused on, he'd be very good at all those things, but wouldn't necessarily translate to success or climbing the top of the mountain. Now, what he did do, though, is very, very well for 3 years. All he focused on was getting to the top of that mountain. And what he did, he reverse engineered how he did it. So the first year he failed, second year he failed, third year he failed, but he eventually made it to the top of the mountain. And what he basically did is he created a plan every week, every day, every month, every year, essentially. He said, this is the steps I need to take to get to the top of that mountain. That is what you would call your B goals, okay? It's a goal he thought he could do if he had a plan and stuck to that plan. Part of that plan is going to have daily routines or daily things you have to do to accomplish that big B goal, which is ultimately going to get you your fantasy goal, which you really truly want in life. So the reason why I made you do the homework last week is because I needed you to have three separate categories or three separate lists. And here's where it gets really interesting. If you really want to succeed in 2016 and make this the best year of your life, without doing this strategy, without doing this routine of goal setting and actually putting it down in front of you, you'll be lost. And I'm telling you right now, it doesn't matter how lofty your goal is or how small your goal is, you're going to be lost regardless. You need a plan in place. There's no question about it. Now, your fantasy goal doesn't require a plan. Everything will fall into place for you if you really want it bad enough. But your B goal is very specific. You have to get very specific of what you want there. And it's a goal that you think you can do. It's not something you already know how to do. Okay, so what we call it, this is the fantasy goal is your stretch goal, but your B goal is going to be getting you out of your comfort zone. Okay, so if you're earning $100,000 a year right now, we say as a guideline, use our 12x blueprint. So multiply that times 12 and make that your annual income goal if that's what you're currently earning. So that'd bring you to $1.2 million. You may not know how to do it, but you think you could do it if you had the plan to put in place and you stick to that plan. So once you have that plan, there's going to be aspects that you have to fill in, okay? So every single day, Monday through Friday or Monday through Sunday, however many days you want to work, there's going to be certain things you're going to have to work on. Mostly yourself, okay? Because the big point of getting to where you want to go is knowing where you want, but also working on where you are currently. That's in your current life, who you are. Maybe it's a presentation skills you have to work on. Maybe it's your sales ability. Whatever that is, there's two components of getting a goal. Where you want to go and where you're at currently. So the A goal is going to help you work on where you're currently at. Okay, so you have to work on something. You have to do it through routine. And if you don't set the routine, unfortunately, you're just not going to get to where you want to go. And I love the quote by Robert Heinlein. I apologize for reading, but it says, in absence of clearly defined goals, we become strangely loyal to performing daily trivia until ultimately we become enslaved by it. Now, I put that on the back of my goal card, so I read that every single day. Now, if you think about that for a second, if you don't have somewhere where you want to go, a goal set in mind, then you become enslaved by this daily to-dos. Okay, I got to get up, I got to get to work, I got to drive, I got to get on the computer, I got to get on the phone. All this just to do, just noise. It doesn't get you anywhere in life. Yet we become enslaved by it because we don't really stretch and push of where we want to go. So the continuation of last week, you have the list, you have the 3 categories now. Now what you need to do this week is build the lists. So you're going to have A goals, these are your to-dos, your B goals, this is your plan you're going to be working on, and your C goals, your deep down burning desire. Of all 3, your main focus is the C goal, period, okay? What you're going to do with your A goals, this is where you're going to start farming out to people to do it for you, okay? So not necessarily hiring a full-time assistant or hiring, a partner, whatever it is, but you can do virtual assistants. There's so many things you can do out there with your A-type goals. Look, I have the ability to mow my lawn. I just don't do it. I hire someone to do it. I have the ability to shovel snow. I just don't do it. I hire someone to do it for me. There's so many things you do, clerical work. There's so many things that you can just get off your plate, off of your to-do list. And you'd be surprised when you focus on taking that list and farming it out, how much time you actually have throughout your day. And then you can focus on your B-type weekly plan and your strategy, and which will ultimately get you your fantasy goal. So that is really how you be successful, and that's my views of goal setting. So we've spent 2 Motivational Mondays on that, and it really sets the tone of what we're going to be doing this year in 2016. So I hope you follow along. I hope you did the homework, because this year is going to be an incredible year. We have a lot of opportunity coming your way. It's my view from the top. All the best.